Hey y'all, welcome back to Leslie's Mature Makeup and Beauty. Today I thought we would do a couple of different looks with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Nouveau palette. Super cute packaging. It's kind of a textured green, little gold details. It does have a mirror. You get 12 shades in here. There's a mix of shimmers and mattes and like metallics. One of these at least is a duochrome. Now something to be aware of. 3 of the shades in here are pressed pigments, which they say are not intended for use in the eye area. A lot of countries don't have an issue with pressed pigments being used in the eye area, but here in the United States, I don't think they've been approved yet. Excuse me. But those shades are Wisteria, which is this pretty purple, Paloma, which is this really light shade, and Metro, which is this kind of almost rusty looking shade. But I thought we would do a couple of different looks today. I want to do something with this purple first, and then I want to do something with these greens. It's the greens that really kind of drew me into this palette. I've never tried an ABH palette before, so this will be my first go round with this, or with an Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. Now I did when my daughter was younger, I bought her a few Anastasia palettes, or I think at least a couple. But anyway, I think I'm going to start with a flat brush, and I'm going to go into Wisteria. I've never had any trouble with any kind of a pressed pigment, so I'm going to try to do something a little bit different. I am going to tap my brush off, just dipping in one side and tapping off. I know her shadows are normally very pigmented, so I don't want to go too heavy. I'm just going to build this up. And everything else that's on my face, I will list down in the description box. And I think I may have mentioned in one of my last videos, but I know everybody probably doesn't watch all my videos. I will be out of pocket the week of the 26th of this month. I will not be back until after the 4th of July, so trying to get up a few videos before I go. I'm going to a summer camp. Obviously it's for kids, but they needed some adult campers, and we will not have much access to technology, so I will not be, on my phone. I'm going to take that same shade on a little bit of a fluffy brush and just kind of diffuse it out a little bit higher. Just going to do something pretty simple for this one, I think. A little bit of powder kick up in the pan, but I don't mind. That is a really pretty, even though it's a pastel purple, it's got really nice pigment. And then I think what I want to do is just take a shimmer and put all over the lid. All right, so I've got all of those swatched there. There's Wings, Owl, Belle, Lily, Hope, and Peacock. Peacock is definitely a shifty duochrome type of shade. I think I'm going to go with Wings. Or should I do Owl? Yeah, let's do Wings. That's this first shade here in the corner. Just going to take a flat brush and see how it applies that way. And I'm just going to go all over the lid with this. think I may take my finger and build that up a little bit. Oh yeah. It's a really pretty green. And I think I may take a little bit of Muse, this shade here, kind of a more satiny. Yeah, it's kind of a, that's it there on the side, kind of a satiny color. I think I'm going to use that like as a liner. So I'm just going to take a little tiny angled brush. It's like a deep brown. And I'm just going to start kind of making little dash marks along my lash line. And I'm going to make it a little thicker out here towards the outer corner of my eye. Kind of give us a little bit of a lift. And then I'll do the same thing over here. Have a ton of pigment. Alright, so I'm going to take a little bit of a little makeup wipe here and just clean up those edges. And then we'll pop on some mascara. I'm going to take a little concealer and just clean that up where I wiped everything off. You know, I'm going to take just what's left on my brush and do a little bit just in this outer corner just to kind of connect. All right, so we'll go take a peek in some natural light. I feel like I need to soften that up a little bit there. Alright, so I ended up taking my fingers and just kind of dabbing over those like shadowy wings where they were just a little too much for me. But we'll go take a look in natural light. Alright, so I thought I'd just step out here under the porch awning in some natural light and let y'all take a look. I did leave just the tiniest hint of that kind of shadowy wing for the liner, but I think this turned out pretty. I like just the purple and the shimmer. I think is really pretty, but I'll see you in a second for look number 2. All right, so we're back for look number 2. I did not want to wash that off. I really liked that, but let's do something else. I want to do something with these greens. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my little fluffy brush and go into Fleur and start that in my crease and kind of work it up a little bit, kind of for a transition shade, or not kinda, for a transition shade. So far, all the shadows I've worked with in here have been nicely pigmented and easy to work with. Just trying to make sure I'm relaxing my eyes and getting this up. You know, where I want it. Again, flat brush. I'm going to go into Liberty, this kind of olivey green. And again, I'm going to go in really light, tap that brush off. And start putting that where I want it. I think we'll do a little bit of a spotlight eye this time. That is a really pretty green. And I'm just going in little bits at a time, building that up. I love a good olive green shadow. And then I think I'm going to take a little smaller brush, my little Profusion small pointed brush, to do the inner part of my eye. Just so I have a little bit more control. think I'm going to miss filming and getting to talk to y'all for a whole week. But I'm sure I will have a blast. I never got to do summer camp as a kid because I grew up pretty poor, so it wasn't really something that was in the budget. I'm just going to kind of connect those with what's on this brush. And usually when I do a spotlight eye, I try to look straight into my mirror and I do my darker color. I kind of line it up with the outer edge of my iris and then leave that center blank. That is a really pretty green. And then I think for the center, I washed my hands a while ago. I think I want to try that shifty. I'm going to go in with this shifty peacock shade. With this little baby profusion brush. Flat, precise eyeshadow they call it. It came in that little set that I had picked up. Just kind of dabbing to start with. And I am overlapping the edges of that olivey shade that we put down. I feel like I might need something lighter. To really make it the center of that eye pop. I'm going to take that flat brush that we used that deepest shade with and just feather over those edges a little bit. I think I'm going to build that green up just a little bit more, the matte green, that shade Liberty. I'm getting just a little bit of fallout. I think maybe from that shimmer. I'm going to take the brush that I used for the crease shade and just not adding anything to it, but just kind of going over those edges to make sure everything is blended well. Trying to decide if I want to put something a little lighter I'm going to take my pinky and go back into Peacock just a little bit. And just right on the center, see if I can zhuzh it up. Which these shades apply good just with a dry brush. Yeah, I think I want to add some lightness. So I'm going to go in with the shade Isle on the center and just add that over the top of that Peacock shade. I think that shade is beautiful. I just want something a little, I just want to brighten it up a little bit. Tapping and dabbing. Yeah, I think that brightened us up a little bit. We're still a little bit deep, but I like it. I think I may take a little bit of that transition shade and just put at the lash line. That Fleur. Just to kind of tie everything together. And then per usual, I'm going to take a little bit of concealer and just dab on that outer corner just to clean that up a little bit and give us a little bit of a lift. And put a little bit in that kind of darkest area there. The old cavern, as I call it. This palette has performed really well. I feel like this is one of those that I will probably reach for a ton in the fall. I mean, you know, you got those kind of brighter pops, you know, with that purple, but overall it's a little bit of a deeper palette, which you can wear anything you want anytime. I mean, I do. I mean, a lot of times if I'm wearing like an olive green shirt, I'll go with a little something kind of olivey on the eyes. So I'm going to pop on some mascara and then we'll take a look at everything. So here is a peek at look number 2 out here in, you know, real life. I am super impressed with this palette so far. I like both the looks that I've done with it this far. I'm excited to keep playing with it. I think it's really pretty. Performed beautifully. All the shades worked wonderfully. You know, obviously I didn't use every single shade in the palette today, but of everything that I used, it all, you know, turned out good, I think. I'm super excited to keep playing with it. I hope everybody has a fantastic week next week and a good 4th of July holiday. It will be after the 4th before I am back, so I love y'all and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, y'all.